As Merlin's old school garage would say, it's about to get Western. Yahtzee. It took about 35 minutes. Did it all with one blade. I don't think I can read the type of blade anymore because it's all the paint rubbed off of it, but it's a 6-inch bimetal made in the USA. That's a pre-China Milwaukee blade. I'm sure you couldn't do that with a China-made blade. But yeah, this is all cut out and ready to start drilling holes. It's a really nice square cut for, you know, just hogging it with a Sawzall. But I mean, hey, back in the working life, we used to cut submarines apart with these things. So, yeah, it can be done. I should stop right here for a second for some honorable mentions. In the last video, Ron Clues, I hope I didn't butcher that name, he made an excellent comment about setting up this lever arm assembly. Now, his Camelback is of a different brand, but the concept's the same. But it all boiled down to, for the automatic down feed, which I'm convinced I don't have, but still, his comment contained really good information. So I pinned it on that last video, so you can all go back and check that out. Secondly, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, he had an excellent comment that, frankly, I didn't even think of. He said, I could have just sanded this down. It's a nice shiny metal and hit it with Dykem. Well, of course, that's what normal people do, but I'm not normal. And I don't have any Dykem because it dries out so fast here in the desert. Well, you know, once you open the container, it's never really sealed again, and things evaporate pretty fast here. Humidity was 6% this morning. So, but I should get some Dykem for stuff like this. If nothing else, to make it easier for my subscribers and viewers to see what the heck I'm doing. And then Steve at Firehouse Custom Fab, he sent me a comment saying, hey Matt, why didn't you give me a shout? I could knock that right out of my milling machine. And Tom at Hilltop Machine Works said the same thing. You know, hey, pick up the phone. It just goes to show you how great this YouTube community is. I mean, I'm telling you, these guys, they're busy. Steve, I don't know how he has time. I mean, he's still a full-time firefighter, plus he's got his machine shop and fabrication business on the side, and he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And of course, Tom, he's a professional machinist. You know, he's busy, you know, with real work and not the junk I'm trying to resurrect. But I mean, this YouTube community is great. These are great guys that offered to help, and I think that's just marvelous. And of course, you know, it may come to that. If this flops, I may give one of those guys a shout and say, hey, can you help me out? I'm gonna hit every one of my center punch marks with a center drill just to get the game rolling before I start using drill bits. What a mess. So the keyway measures 247 thousandths, quarter inch. But these quarter inch Hobo Freight keys from their key set, the old boys in China machining these out, I'm sure machined them to metric, because that sure ain't quarter inch. They're near 30 seconds slop in that. So I'm gonna have to buy some 1/4-inch bar stock and make a key. 235 thousandths. A full 15 thousandths short of a 1/4 inch. Yeah. If you'll recall in a previous video in this series where I was blathering on and on and on about how did they get into those step pulleys, with square-headed set screws, and all they had was those old adjustable spanners, nothing fit, and I finally figured it out, did a course correction, and I knew that all along. That's what was embarrassing. It just didn't come to my memory for whatever reason. And to add insult to injury, was digging through the hoard looking for Morse taper shank drill bits. Yeah, I got a bunch of these in different sizes for square head bolts. They'll work on hex too, but I mean, this is from back in the day when pretty much most of the fasteners were square headed. Yeah, I can be a doofus at times. While I'm ranting about Harbor Freight, this compound drill press vise, I've never really been happy with it. I mean, I bought it over 20 years ago, so I'm sure the ones they sell now, the quality is improved. But this backed off on me while I was drilling, and I got a lot of movement in this thing. I'm constantly having to adjust and tighten down the gibs, and I mean, it's Chinese quality. What can you say? So anyway, I'm surprised, given that I had those issues, that I was able to drill this center hole reasonably accurately. I think I'm off just a little bit that direction. I don't have an 1 3/16 bit or a reamer or anything like that. I go from 1 inch to 1 7/32, from too small to too big. So I drilled this to 1 inch. I'll do a video about this one of these days. I took a few minutes and put a grind on a couple of my Morse taper bits. And I did the 1 inch one on my trusty ancient Craftsman grinder. And man, it cut like butter, other than the movement on that thing. But man, I had chips coming out both sides, and it really cut well. So I think that in parts what saved me is a good sharp bit. My little well-built brand bandsaw was not up to the task of cutting through 1 inch thick material. Just way too much chatter, and I knew I was going to strip teeth off the blade. So I resorted to the angle grinder, and I gotta say, this video isn't sponsored by Benchmark, but these Benchmark abrasive Type 1 cutting wheels, they're the real deal. I'm cutting through 1 inch thick material with a 4.5 inch angle grinder with an abrasive. Something that's pretty much unheard of. And occasionally, as you saw in the earlier clip, I got to grab my tongs and dip it in water to cool it off, because it does heat up. But man, I mean, I'm going right through it. Once I get this all cut in a rough circle shape, then I'll put it on the disc sander and take it, grind it right to the dots, smooth it out. And then I'll try the bandsaw and just cutting the little slots where I drilled the 1/4 inch holes. That'll be the final leg. And then take a rough bastard file and just kind of refine the slot with that. And that should be good. I realize this thing may annoy some of the viewers of the channel, and I do apologize for that. But it's the middle of June in southeast Arizona. And that's inside the shop. 100 degrees Fahrenheit, about 35 degrees Celsius. It's hotter than that outside. If it weren't for that cooler, I'd be dying in here. So I hope you understand. So I have finished roughing this out with 4.5-inch angle grinder. I don't recommend you try that. It's really not safe. Going through a big, thick chunk of stuff like that with an angle grinder, although, I mean, I did it. It worked. I've got a rough circle formed here. And I was speaking with my buddy Charlie the other day. He's the one that helped me with the battery charger for the Witch's Brew process. He's also got a modest little machine shop set up at his super secret location. And he told me to bring this thing over. He's got a boring bar that can finish the center circle cut. And he might be able to true up the outer circumference of this circle, and then maybe mill 1/8 of an inch or so off the face of this thing to get it down to a more true size. Well, I have to say, hogging the block out with a Sawzall, and then cutting the rough circle with a 4.5-inch angle grinder, and drilling out the center with a 1-inch Morse taper bit, and then truing it all up on the belt sander. I have to admit, my hackery has turned out pretty good. If I had the drill bit or the reamer to finish this center diameter, I'd go all the way with this. But my buddy Charlie has offered to take his boring bar on his lathe and finish out this center circle. And then if he can, he might true this up just a little bit. I'm within a 1/16. That's 3-inch. That's about 3 1/32. There's 3 1/16. So, I mean, just for roughing this thing out, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Had a viewer on a previous video who was questioning why I wasn't using, machinist measuring rule, precision measuring instruments. Obviously, that would be the ultimate correct way of doing it. But, hey, I'm trying to demonstrate what can be done in your shop with minimal tools and equipment. If you're trying to restore a beast like that, just because you don't have all the precision machinist machinery, measuring tools, all that, doesn't mean you can't take something like this on. So I'd encourage you to do that. That viewer is correct. I mean, it should have a precision measuring machinist rule and all that stuff. But when you're working on this kind of stuff, you can get by without it if you're careful and patient. Well, this video is getting long, so I'm going to end it right here. A couple weeks ago, I posted an update on this thing. It's like 26 minutes long. Barely got over 100 views. The last one I posted was 16-ish minutes long, 17 maybe. I got over 1,000. Don't ask me how that happened, other than I attribute it to a shorter length of video. So that's what I'm attempting to do. I can't always do it, but shorter length videos seem to get more views. 923 subscribers. If you're new here, welcome. That's shocking the heck out of me. I remember 3 years ago when I I just went over 100, and I thought, holy smokes, you know, moonshot, 100 subscribers. Well, here we are, 923, slowly creeping up to 1,000. So I'm happy about that. Welcome, glad you're here. Existing subscribers, as always, thanks for sticking around. So I'm entertaining doing a giveaway when we hit 1,000, you know, and it's June. If we make 1,000 by the end of the year, it's possible. If the channel keeps growing the way it is. And just so you know, if you're new here, I don't actively ask for you to subscribe. I mean, subscriptions are free; they don't cost anything. I don't ask anybody to do it, you know. I mean, you hear that on so many other channels, and I know y'all get sick of it. Like and subscribe and ring the bell and blah, blah, blah. You all know how it works. If you come here and you view the content and you like it, you'll subscribe so you can see more of it. And if it's not your bag, you're not going to subscribe. It's that simple. So I don't ask. I don't try to put myself in a position where I ask my viewers and subscribers for anything other than advice, you know, on certain things. And speaking of that, I've been really enjoying the helpful suggestions and comments from all of you out there. I really appreciate that. So hey, this is pushing 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to shut up. I promise. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.